And we're back. Welcome to the Cavalry, everyone. Good to have you.
Good to be here. And another great guest.
We got a great guest this week. If you're watching on YouTube,
debatable.
you already know it's Dave Yates.
Hey, everybody. Great guest is debatable. You can't just call me a great guest before I've done anything, because that's too much pressure.
We'll wait until you hear what Johnny says about you when you're gone.
About
Like
guests in general. I've never singled anyone out. At least not on the air. All right.
Yeah, no. We love our guests.
Except for your solo episode where you're like, fuck the guest. This is what the people really want. They want the Andrew and Johnny show.
That's what I was alluding to.
All right.
Yes.
So you did listen to some episodes. Okay.
Yeah, I did my homework like a good guest should.
Like a professional.
Like a goddamn professional.
Well, you're already ahead of most of our guests, so good job.
Hey, I do want to make I have to do an apology. I don't know if you noticed, Andrew, when you were editing, but if it was last week or the week before when we were doing listener comments, I called our good buddy Kyle McClure Troy McClure by accident. Too much Simpsons on the brain.
Did someone call you out for that?
No, I was editing for promo clips and I was like, I just called him Troy McClure. And none of us said anything. So I was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking.
It seems like a theme with this show. Like, the better you treat our show, the worse we treat you. So Kyle reviews and listens all the time, sends positive comments. We fuck his name up and no respect. Or if a guest comes on and is lovely, we trash him afterward. But the people who ignore us, that we're nicer to.
What's that old saying? When you treat someone like shit, that's like the highest form of flattery or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly how people said to date in high school. It's like, just treat women like dog shit. You'll be swimming in pussy.
There you go.
Is that the same?
Yeah, I don't know if that's even the same sentiment.
That sounds like one of those big dog T-shirts.
I actually brought that up between the Big Dog and the Big Johnson. Do you remember the Big Johnson T-shirts?
I do.
I don't.
Did you own? Johnny, you seem like a guy that would own the Big Johnson.
I did not own one. I'm not a Neanderthal, but I am familiar with them.
Okay, so the man who did grocery store penis as a photo collage did not wear the Big Johnson shirts. Okay, got it.
Right, let's get that straight.
Wait a minute. Explain to me, what was the Big Johnson shirt? I know Big Dog, of course, familiar.
So Big Dog was very similar, but Big Johnson was really like on the nose. Like, it would be like this dude, like nerdy dude cartoon in glasses surrounded by beautiful big-breasted women cartoons. And it'd be like Big Johnson's Auto Garage. And then the women will have speech bubbles like, we'll lube you up. We'll crank your shaft. And it's like, people will wear these shirts out into public.
It's like if you're gonna drill it hard with a Big Johnson.
Yeah.
Or something stupid like that.
And they were all themed. Like, each shirt would be like Big Johnson Bait Shop or Big Johnson Auto Wreckers, you know?
Big Johnson bowling ball.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to me, like, what people will actually wear in public, because I remember, like, you know, when you're trying to, like, a lot of time comedians, you try to design merch or something to sell after a show, and then you think of something stupid. I don't know. You think of some punchline. You're like, yeah, but no one would really wear this out. And I think we think about that way more than the public. The public will wear anything, and you just shouldn't edit yourself when trying to design a T-shirt, I think, is the lesson.
You know what's funny? That makes me think, like, so you're thinking, like, those dumb shirts. It's like, oh, people in general are wearing these dumb, stupid, hacky shirts. And it made me think of this. Did you guys see Punching the Clown, Henry Phillips movie, Punching the Clown?
Yes.
I haven't.
Or
seen
Punching Henry.
Yes.
So they have, I forget there's a guy, the guy that owns the comedy club. He like comes out and he does all the fart jokes, and it's like all this, you know, poop humor, and it's all like, you know, silly, stupid stuff. And it's like, you know, that's like and Henry's just like depressed because that's what everyone loves. And he's like, God, I'm doing this actual comedy and this is what people love. But like, I'm watching the movie and I'm like, the guy's pretty funny. I mean, it's hilarious. He's got these song parodies about farts, and I'm like, hey, I mean, it's funny, you know? I get what he's saying, but come on.
Man of the people, Johnny Beaner.
Yes.
We breezed over this, but Andrew, are you familiar with grocery store penis?
No.
Johnny used to take pictures, and I don't know how old you were, but he would take pictures in grocery stores with different things as his penis. Like he would find like a big salami log and be like, grocery
That
store
tracks.
penis.
Well, this is before, this is pre-social media. I've been doing this.
Yeah.
This was anytime I was in a grocery store with my brother Scott. And then one day, somehow I just compiled all these photos of me through the ages, and I did post them in a folder or something of grocery store penis, and it's amazing. It's like one of those flip books where you watch me age, but I'm holding a cucumber in a grocery store and all of it.
Just for the love of the game. I also like it was most of those items were probably things you wouldn't ever actually eat.
Right.
But
What, you mean vegetables? Are you saying
yeah,
vegetables?
Any vegetable, carrot. I'm just trying to think of like what a dick would be in a grocery store. Like cucumber. There's no way you're eating a cucumber.
Yeah.
Carrot.
Yeah, I don't think I
summer
ever
squash.
held
Summer
up a
squash.
box of Fruit Loops for Dick. So your point may be strong.
Yeah. Well, and also I will say that you were talking about breezing over a grocery store penis. I think that is true. I've just been doing this with Johnny long enough that just tracked. So I was like, yeah, I can kind of imagine what that would be, and I don't even need an explanation. I haven't heard the actual thing, but like, I think I could put it together knowing Johnny and his personality.
It's like nothing to see here. This is perfectly normal.
It's
No,
on
that-
brand.
that-
It's on brand. Good. I've developed
Very
my brand.
on brand. Yes. Yes.
The last thing I'll say about the merch thing, I was always taught early on that if you make your merch shirt a joke and you eventually hate the joke, you have to keep telling that joke until you sell out of the shirts. And like that always scared me. So my first merch shirt was just my comedy logo, and the logo glowed in the dark. So that was the selling point. I'm like, yeah, I know this looks dumb, but I would have like the sound guy hit the lights and the shirt would glow. Like I would have to do enough of the merch pitch for like 30 seconds for it to charge up on stage, and then when they hit the lights, it's glow in the dark merch. That was my first merch, is glow in the dark shirt.
People like that. Was it a premium? Like when you made the shirts, did they charge you more for the glow in the dark ink or anything? Ah, that's
No,
great.
My homie that I used to get my merch shirts from in Central Illinois, like I think I was getting them like $6 a shirt because it was really only 2-color ink. It was black ink and then glow in the dark white. So it was a standard 2-ink shirt. So,
You know what would be a great merch shirt is that, remember those shirts that were hypercolor, or like they would change color with heat?
Yeah, you
So
put
if
your
you-
hand
yeah,
on
like
it.
if you put
Yeah,
your
put your
on it.
hand on it or your hot breath on it. That'd be great if you could get one. I'm gonna start selling those. I don't want. You're right. I don't want any of my stupid jokes on the T-shirt. I just want to sell fun novelty shirts.
I'm gonna start selling the shirts that have like teeth marks ripped in the sides that you get at like
Yeah, like the
beach
shark at the
shops. Yeah, the
beach or
shark
whatever.
attacked me.
I think I'm just gonna sell beach stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna start selling fudge, just like
Saltwater taffy.
saltwater taffy. Yeah, I'm just. Why
Dude.
are we even trying to compete? That's clearly what people want. You know.
I'm telling you, I am a big advocate of the fucking tangible, usable merch. And if you could sell saltwater taffy, you'd sell a fucking billion of them.
There's a great comic out of Boston named Tom Dustin, and he would sell fire wallets. It had nothing to do with his act, and he
Is
just
he a
would get 'em-
magician?
No, he's a funny comic. He doesn't have
think
anything to do.
Tom's
Nothing
big
to do with. I'm
closer
telling
back
you.
in the day.
Yeah, it had
Oh,
nothing to do
sorry.
with his act. He just pick them up at the flea market or whatever, and you would open the wallet, and like it was for smokers, flame would come out. People love it. He couldn't keep them in stock. He could sell them like crazy.
Wow.
So Tom's big closer used to be, he used to do like a rabbit vibrator dildo closer, and it always
Right.
murdered. And then he would pitch the flame wallets after that. But the story that I know about the flame wallets is there's a comic in Florida, Mike Herlihy, who was also selling the flame wallets. They were like getting them from the same source, and they were getting them like for like $1 or
They're
$2
connect.
a piece in China or something, and then they both were cool with each other selling the same merch because it really had nothing to do with the act itself. But then Mike, he upgraded down the line to flame watches. I was working with a guy in Indianapolis that lit his blunt with his watch, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that seems unnecessary. He's like, oh, my buddy Mike sells these flame watches. I'm like, The man upgraded from flame wallets to flame watches. He's like, yeah, man. He gets them for like $5 and sells them for $40 a crack after the show.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's
Like
funny.
a workable watch that lights on fire. Fuck it. Fuck us.
That's funny. Like the fire, whoever's making like the fire watch, they're like Apple. You know, they have to keep thinking of devices. Like, oh, people want. Okay, they got the iPhone, they need the iPad, and the iWallet, and the iWatch. It's like the same thing with fire. You're like, what else can we do? What else can fire come out of?
They're gonna
Fire
start
buds,
selling fire tablets.
fire tablets.
Fire toothbrush.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. You can smoke and brush your teeth at the same time.
And this has been Merch Talk on the Cavalry.
Surprised it hasn't come up before, considering how many comedians we've had on.
We're all ashamed.
I figure, I mean, that's usually the go-to for me because I do sell a unique merch. So
What else do you
Bring
sell?
it
You
up.
sell-
What do we got?
It's the merch
so
talk
I-
still.
Talk about it.
I make and sell my own brand of hot sauce called Ha Ha Hot Sauce, and I've been making it and selling it for 5 or 6 years, and it's actually very good. It's real. People don't think it's real when I tell them about it, but it's very delicious. I came up with the recipe myself, and every year I've just put money back into the business to grow it. And throughout the pandemic, you know, when there wasn't any shows happening, I was just trying to hustle hot sauce in like different barbecue groups, and like so I've been able to survive selling my little $10
That's
bottle of hot
crazy.
sauce.
And I'm not making this up. I have gone through multiple bottles of Dave's hot sauce, and it's my favorite. It's good.
So is it very hot? How spicy are we talking?
It's like a 7 out of 10 heat wise. Like I didn't make it so hot you couldn't eat it.
Yeah, it's
but
not
I
the
definitely
painful
wanted to-
kind.
No, it's very flavorful, but like a nice consistent burn because it's like there's no repeat business and burn your dick off hot sauce. Like you'd buy one bottle and then you'd fuck with your buddies every
Yeah.
time you had a drunk party, and that'd be it. But like I've got people like Johnny and others that like they really like it. So like every few months, like I'll get people who are consistent. I mean, it's a $10 bottle of hot sauce. You know, like I mean. You go to the store and hot sauce is like $4, $3, but like I'm not making, you know, metric fuck tons of hot sauce. I make like a couple gallons at a time. It's always fresh, you know, but I sell it for $10. And it's when people were looking in the beginning to support comedians, it's like I felt better about doing that than like putting up like a GoFundMe. You know, like I
Yeah.
chose a fucking unsteady career. Please donate to me, please. You know.
Yeah, I've that is funny. I don't know what that says about comedy that you're like, my unsteady comedy career needs to be bolstered by my homemade hot sauce business.
Yeah. For stability.
Right. My stable, just, 9 to 5 homemade hot sauce is supporting my
It's
dreams.
been the difference between difference between me making a living on the road and not, 100%. You know, like I can turn a middle work weekend into a $1,200 weekend with the hot sauce.
See, Dave's been able to survive with his hot sauce through the pandemic. There's no way my Who Rescued Who boner bumper stickers would have gotten me through this pandemic.
See, now this is number one. I wasn't going to go here, but this is number one. Andrew, this is my number one. I need backup on this. I already
know
Johnny
what
Beaner.
this is.
I handed Johnny Beaner a fucking golden idea, okay? Because he used to do a little show with his kids. He still does it sometimes. It's adorable. It's funny, called Beaner's Beans, okay?
That's not with
I
my
told
kids.
him-
That's the old series. The one with the kids. That's what's that? Up late
Beaner
or
News.
the Beaner Nightly News.
Okay, well, quit trying
Get the
to
facts
deflect.
straight, Yates.
I suggested that Johnny find a local roaster and sell packets of Beaner's coffee beans, and he could get like the little sample packets like you would get at like a hotel motel, like the little sample size ones, and he could sell it for $10 a crack for like a sample size local roasted coffee and call it Beaner's Beans. And coffee is very lightweight. You could fly with 100 of them. You could fly with $1,000 worth of merch. And what has he done with it? I want to make boner bumper stickers. Andrew, back me up on this.
Well, now, first of all,
All right, defend
Before you
yourself.
weigh in, I have to say my piece. I never said no, and I never said it's not going to happen. The 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 Who Rescued Who boner bumper stickers and the I Love My Penis paw print stickers I had before the coffee suggestion. So those are all leftovers. Those are all leftovers. And so I'm not saying no. I'm extremely lazy, and it has taken me a long time to get around to finding my local roaster.
You live in
And
Madison, Wisconsin. There's probably 9 of them right down the street from you.
you are underestimating how lazy I am. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's okay. So I will back you up, Dave, because it's a great idea, first of all, and he would make a ton of money on it. But then again, I will say it's just never going to happen because you're talking about so much steps. Because Johnny's not a lazy guy because he got 3 kids and he works hard on comedy and all this stuff.
We run
But
a successful podcast.
it's asking to go outside the comfort zone, I think, so far that there's no chance. But
I wouldn't
you're
say,
right.
I disagree. I wouldn't say there's no chance. It
There's
may
no
happen.
It's what are you? Why lie now? You're off scot free. Just
I'm
admit
not
there's no
lying to
chance.
Dave. I'm lying to myself, and I am
Yeah,
behaving a lie.
he's getting out of breath justifying his inaction. Do you hear him, Andrew? He's like, well, I mean, I'm just lazy. Beaner's Beans would sell like no one's selling sample size packs of coffee on the road.
Yeah. No, I know.
Everybody drinks coffee.
And
Here,
everyone
let
loves
me.
coffee.
You know who doesn't drink coffee? You know who doesn't drink coffee? The salesman. So let's just play that through. You're the audience member. Is it any good? I don't know. I don't drink coffee. It gives me a tummy ache.
Here, you want to hear
Well,
something? I don't eat a lot of hot sauce, and I sell a fuck ton. You think the cocaine dealer does a lot? The best cocaine dealers don't get high on their own supply.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I'm
and
calling
the
my
pillow guy doesn't even use my pillow.
Yeah, he sleeps
Sleeps-
on fucking steaks. He sleeps
Yeah, he
on
sleeps-
metal steaks in a coffin.
Hank, back on. Well, I don't know why I said we're back because no one knew. I was
You're
gonna
gonna
do
have
that
some
so
fun editing
seamlessly,
here.
and now I'm gonna have to do some editing. God damn it! Talk about lazy. There's nothing worse than have to making 2 cuts on the podcast editing.
But
I
what,
just
what
think
were
it's
we
a good
saying?
idea. I think it was a good idea for you to do Beaner's Beans, and I didn't mean to call you out in front of Andrew. It's just I want to see you feed your kids. Is that so wrong? I want to see you and boner bumper stickers. We'll feed them, but not good
Well,
food.
Right.
Boner bumper stickers. That sounds like the merch from the character in the Henry Phillips movie. If I'm being completely honest,
Yeah. You want to be that guy?
I forget his name. I am that
It
guy.
is funny, like when your kids explain what their dad does for a living. It's like, oh, my dad sells coffee beans, or he's the boner bumper sticker guy. Which one do you want him to say?
Whichever one puts him through college, baby.
And my bet is coffee beans.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Also, it'd be fun travel if you had like a whole suitcase of coffee beans. That'd be kind of fun to travel with. People would be like, oh, it'd smell good. Be interesting going through security. People are like, oh, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
See, but here's
he's
the
gotta
thing.
roll with 10 pairs of Jordans instead. Like,
Your hot sauce, like your hot sauce is good. You know what you're doing.
yeah.
My beans, I have no idea. I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. I don't know. Are they just buying it
See,
because
this is
I'm
hilarious.
a comedian and it's unique?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, no one buys merch from a comedian. They want to tip you. It's just like I find I sell more because it doesn't matter how well I do. People like hot sauce, and it's just like even if you don't like coffee and you make the whole merch pitch like how you hate coffee, but your wife's like, you got to stop selling fucking inflatable penis straws as merch.
Now those would sell. Now that would sell more than coffee beans.
I would corner the bachelorette party market.
No, but what you do is you go to some cool guy. Dave's right. Like in Madison, you go to some cool guy coffee shop or roastery or something. And you go, hey, I'll sell your beans on the road. All I'm going to do is take a sticker and put it over it. And you can charge me like, whatever bulk price. And I'm going to just sell it for $1.50 more or whatever. and you don't need to know if it's good or not. Who cares?
Well, right. If we're talking about $1.50 markup per unit, I'm out.
Yeah, no, that's not.
That's not
That's
worth
the hard part.
No, for anybody listening, if you're selling merch, and this is kind of part of the first gripe. It's just like it boils my blood when comedians don't think they deserve to sell merch or they don't have merch. It really boils my blood because you want to sell a merch that's got a 3 times markup of what your initial investment is. So if it costs you $2 per to make, you need to be selling it for minimum $6 to $8. I like to inch towards 4 times markup.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to a guy who is too lazy to sell any merch almost every time.
You are boiling his blood, Andrew. You
I know,
are
I don't mean
boiling
to-
his blood.
I don't mean to
Well,
boil blood.
look,
But can I sell Beaner's beans on the road? Can I just sell them?
You know what's funny? Because he fucking like he hasn't done anything with the idea. I approached comic Patrick Keene and said you should sell Keener's beans. And Keen's beans. And you know what's funny? He said Patrick's very funny too. And I think like his family somewhere down the line used to own a coffee shop. I'm like, bang.
Ugh.
He didn't do anything with the idea. So I've got 2 people that I respect comedically, but
My
zero
name doesn't work.
salesmanship.
Why did you have to specify you respect me comedically?
Because you're a terrible salesman.
There it is.
I don't know what I would do. I'm trying to think of like the alliteration for my like Slater's sack of beans, and that
There
there's
it
no
is.
good.
Slater sack. You got to keep it simple. Slater sack.
Slater sack.
Slater sacks.
I don't know.
Slater sex or sacks?
Sacks.
Sacks. No.
He's like, I'll just sell lube.
Yeah.
Again, would also sell very well.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not. I don't know why. I don't know why I've never been able to sell merch. It probably is 90% laziness, and then also I don't like. I'm working on this too because I know it's important. But I also don't like hanging out after the show or being around the exits, seeing people.
Nobody
But I'm
does.
trying. I know
it
that
makes
that's
some
important
people's
too.
skin crawl. I
Yeah.
get it. Like
But-
on a human level, I'm not upset with your reasoning.
Yeah.
But on a make as much money as humanly possible level, I'm just like, motherfucker, come on.
No, I know. Well, I'll work out. This is good. This is because I've got some time here while COVID wraps up, so I'll brainstorm and come up with something.
I happily tell any comedian that wants to talk to me. I love coming up with merch ideas. We can sit, have a cup of coffee. Maybe it's Beaner's beans. But I will sit and talk to someone about their act and come up with a viable merch option just because the pay is not getting any better out there. And if anything, they're going to try to convince you to take less now because of the fucking pandemic.
Yeah,
And
that's going to stick. It's going to be just like Andrew said, the 9/11 fee we're paying.
Yep.
Right.
Permanent.
Sorry, guys.
Well,
Limited
that's COVID
capacity.
prices.
Yeah. Limited capacity. Can't do it. So, like, arming other comics, I get fired up about it because it's just like, I want us to survive. I want everybody to be able to fucking pay their mortgages, feed their kids, doing stand-up comedy. And it's becoming less and less possible these days.
You're like the Mother Teresa of comedy.
Merch.
If Mother Teresa called the people that she helped stupid assholes if they didn't take her advice.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. Sometimes tough love, man.
That's so true about we've talked about this before on the show, but like the COVID customer service is never going away. Like they're never answering phones again. It's like all these excuses. But then you're right about the comedy clubs because they're using that already. The limited capacity. Oh, we can't pay as much as limited capacity. And it's like, hey, I was here last time. I didn't sell more than 50% of these tickets when I was here the last time, and you could afford it. Why? It's the same number of people coming to see me. It's not sold out either way. Like,
I'm super grateful to get any booking that does my feelings does not change the gratitude of being able to do what I do for a living. However, it's like
It's okay. Bookers don't listen to this.
Yeah,
it's
no, you're
cool.
good.
It's cool.
no, I'm
It's a safe place.
I'm just I'm speaking for real. Like the feature pay has not changed in 30 fucking years. You know why? Because at $100 a set, after 5 shows, they pay you $500. They don't have to turn in a fucking 1099. Anything under $600 to the tax of the government, you don't have to turn in a 1099. And that is why clubs have not moved the feature pay. It's not because, oh, well, we got expenses and da-da-da-da-da. Every other job in a comedy club has gotten an increase in pay, except for the people who fucking do the actual job that keeps the doors open.
That is I had never thought of that before.
I never realized
But that is very astute. I never thought about that. Over the $600
And I can't
thing.
change the people, places, and things in my life, but I can hustle my ass off and make sure I'm putting money in my pocket. If you want to pay me $400 to do 4 shows as a middle act, I'm going to make $900 selling hot sauce.
Have you ever had a headliner be like, "Hey, would you mind not selling the hot sauce tonight? I sell gravy," and I just think people get confused.
Right? Right? Yeah. Like, well, we can't have 2 condiments.
I wouldn't want to,
Oh, that's what I did when we were at the jukebox together. I pulled out my
Yeah,
mustard
He pulled out a mustard bottle from the fridge
right after
in the
he did
bar.
his pitch.
He gets on stage. I was featured. It was my home club. I get off stage, and Johnny comes up and pulls out of his hoodie pocket. He's like, "Dave's got hot sauce, but I've got Beaner's yellow mustard. Please buy some after
What
the
a
show."
jerk. What an a-hole.
Man, I didn't sell it.
Well, this is great. Yeah, this is good merch talk. We've never had merch talk on the show before. People might be interested in how comedians can kind of survive sometimes, especially starting out.
Yeah, I mean, T-shirts are always a go-to. Okay, and that's fine but you could pay someone that keep the money in the family to do a design for you for like $50 or $100, where it's just like supporting you like a band. Like you go to a rock concert and you're buying like a Pearl Jam shirt. It doesn't have a joke on it. It just has an artwork and the band logo.
Yeah, that is very true. People mostly buy stuff because they liked you and they want to support. Like you said, a tip, because there's so many times I've sold things. I have sold some things. Like when I used to have those album digital download cards. Those are the greatest. Because it costs you almost nothing, and people, buy your album like $10. But I can't tell you how many times you can tell when people redeem them. Used to on like CD Baby, so many times people would buy them and never put in the code or wouldn't know how. They would like send me an email, "How do I do this?" And I was like trying to explain, and they just don't do it. Or they buy a DVD and they're like, "We don't even have a DVD player. I'm not sure how we're gonna make this work." But so most of the time, it is just like a sign of like, and sometimes people just want to show you they have money.
Sure.
It is good to give them an opportunity.
$100
Like
tip
big
before.
shots out there like to like throw money around. They want to show you that they're rich.
Mm-hmm. They want to buy merch for the whole table.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a certain type of guy. He's usually like mid 40s to early 50s. He's got way more muscles than a middle-aged man should have. He's like peeling off, and they always carry like a roll of money.
Yeah, cash. Yeah, big wads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's never let me swipe for $400 worth of merch. It's like I'm gonna peel off slowly in front of all these people and flex real hard. Well, you're just like, "Yeah, please, sir," because that's gonna be more than I'm making this weekend. So yes, whatever you believe in life, I believe too for this moment.
That's the truth. I had a guy in a Trump hat one time come up to me after a show, and I thought, because I talked a little bit about guns and politics, and I thought, oh, Jesus, here we go. This is why I don't stand back here, because I was trying to sell something. I don't remember. And he came up and just gave me like $100, and I was like, man, see, the Trump needs more of you people as his supporters. He could repair some of the image if you all just gave me $100. I would tolerate it more.
I've worked a little bit over this past year, and I had to sell merch to someone in a Trump mask, and I'm just like, well, at least your fucking face is covered. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I can't believe they were wearing a mask.
That's the places that were open. Rarely, it's just like they couldn't afford not to. So you're doing a show for like 20 people spread across a 250-seat room, and like, masks are required in the building, but it's like you still have people that are idiots. Like we would still have to build like a barricade behind the merch table, because people would be like, "Hey man, can I come around the table, take a picture?" It's like, no, you fucking can take an over-the-shoulder selfie.
Yeah.
Like, stay the fuck away from me. And that's, I mean, this could be gripe number 2. It's just like, I didn't want to be out there doing this shit. But like, I'm not. I can go get a job at the grocery store. That's fine. I have no ego about doing any kind of job that I need to survive and feed myself. But you can't tell me the 1 week in a month that I was getting, me going out, coming back, staying put for 4 or 5 days, I've gotten COVID tested 18 to 20 times, is less dangerous than going to working at the supermarket for 7 days a week.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. Like I thought about that because you do get some people. I know Johnny too. We've all worked a few times because you got to take it. There's just not enough money in the system to survive otherwise, and so. And I've thought about that. It's like people get mad at you for doing comedy, but it's also because they view it as non-essential, right? They view it as like this frivolous fluff, but it's like, well, it's essential for us. It's how we make a living. And if we were a bartender and the bar's open, no one gets mad at the bartender for going to work, right? They just get mad at the government for allowing bars to be open. So if the government opens comedy clubs, why do we get mad at the people going to work at them? You're expecting them to be
only the
nobler
comics.
Yeah.
It's only the comics they get mad at because they fucking forget that it's not just me up there. There's a fucking server and a cook making the chicken fingers and a fucking door person and the manager. Yeah. Everybody who works there needs to also pay their fucking bills. That's what blows my fucking mind is that people that call themselves comedians become fucking cannibals. Like they made staying at home their fucking brand. I believe in the virus and how dangerous it is. I believe in masks. I'm fully vaccinated. I believe in social distance. I sanitize my hands multiple times a day. But who the fuck do you think you are telling me how to fucking make my living? That's the fucking problem I have. It's just like no one knows how to mind their own fucking business. Like it's easy to not do comedy when no one's fucking booking you. But the fact of the matter is I got lucky and good enough to do what I do that people still want to pay me money to do these jokes. Am I performing in front of people that don't think this pandemic is fucking real? Yes. Is it fucking terrifying the moment I leave my fucking door? Absolutely. But I'm doing everything within my power to stay safe while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, it's the cavalry.
No, I agree.
Cavalry's here. I'm with you. I've had that same thought that we don't get mad at the other. In fact, we call them essential workers, right? Like if you're bartending, that's like essential work. They got the vaccine earlier, right? Like you don't get the vaccine earlier for being a comedian,
No.
You do when you sell hot sauce. Bam.
Yeah.
That's how I got my vaccine.
Your job as a hot sauce salesman made you eligible, but not as a comedian. That's hilarious.
100%. I wrote a letter on behalf of my hot sauce company, Haha Hot Sauce, with my address and my phone number, about Dave Yates in the third person, that he's been making hot sauce and selling it for 6 years, and this qualifies him as a food service worker. I signed it at the bottom, CEO and owner, Haha Hot Sauce, Dave Yates. I walked up to the vac site. I showed him the letter, and they go, "Oh, you make hot sauce? That's dope." And they're like, "Here you go. Shot of Pfizer, please."
Wow.
Boom. That's how you do it.
Very impressive. And I also think you probably took it, you were like, might have been overkill with how much evidence you I'm pretty sure you could walk up to one of these places and go, "Hey, I make hot sauce." They're like, "All right." You know what I mean? I don't think they're investigating. I think they just want to get people shots, I don't think
they do. And they're not trying to turn you away, but it is 100% true. Like I went there and struck out. Because I went to go get the leftovers, right? And I heard you guys talking about it in a previous episode. It's just like, if there's leftovers and they're going to go to waste, like it should be our responsibility to try to get as many shots in as many arms as possible, because the people that don't want to get these shots, I don't care if you don't want to get the vaccine. But the fact of the matter is, the more of us that get it is going to account for you thinking that this is fucking not real. So I'm going to go do it.
Yeah, no, I know. And like in Oregon, we're going a little slower. I think they're just slow. I don't know why. But
everybody's high.
They're up to like frontline. They have now the categories basically almost everybody. I think in a week it'll be everybody. I'm gonna get mine on the 19th or something. But there was like frontline workers was a category, and I was looking at it really close because I was like, I think a comedian is essentially a frontline worker, because lawyers were included, like public speak. So I was like, yeah, I mean, it didn't say comedian, but I'm like, pretty much if I get, you're going to want me to have the vaccine if I'm like going to have to travel for work and be in front of crowds and talking to people. Like
Yeah.
it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, my mom, she's a retired legal secretary, and she brought in her notary because when they opened it up in Illinois to people who work in the legal field as frontline workers, I'm like, get your ass in there because like I'm going to be home, and I'd like to see you, and I would rather you have a vaccine in you.
Yeah.
You know, it's the overarch of this whole little rant here. It's just like how dare anybody tell me how much I care about myself and those around me, you know? And no man or woman should fuck with the way another man makes his money, especially if they're not doing anything illegal. Like I mean, look, will I first admit 100%? Is it a risk for people to come out to comedy shows? Absolutely. Do I even do promo and encourage these people to come out? I don't. But the ones that are
Right.
there, I have to give them a fucking show. And every club, like you think Helium in fucking Philadelphia is not operating under the strictest guidelines of Pennsylvania? Get the fuck out of here. Everybody's got face shields on and the tables are fucking 10 feet apart. Eat my entire asshole. Like I posted a picture because I felt like, okay, maybe it's
Use
time
hot
that I can
sauce.
start. Yeah. Fucking put my own hot sauce on
How
my
much of
taint
your asshole
and
did
eat
you want
it.
them to eat?
All
How
of it.
hungry should I be?
Every inch. But like I posted a picture and some comic commented, well, that doesn't look socially distanced. I'm like, you've taken pictures of your fucking open mic before. You know what it is. You take a picture over the shoulder of one person so it doesn't look sad as balls because there's like 10 people in that fucking room.
Yeah. I also like it's funny with comedy clubs because all the names are so dumb. So it's like, you don't think Helium is taking the strictest protocols when it comes to virus prevention? I gotta believe that Go Bananas is very aware of the CDC guidelines.
Listen,
The Giggle Factory is taking this very
Magoobies
seriously.
is taking.
Yeah.
Magoobies is doing
Magoobies.
everything they can.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Johnny, you back him up, right? I'm with you, Dave.
Of course, I back you up, Dave. Here you go. This is my idea for you. Okay, take it, make your money. It's
Quick comedy.
Big Johnson vaccines. Okay, you got a big needle in the back. Put it in ya or whatever.
Yeah, fucking.
I'll see you out there, buddy.
This Big Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, there you go. See, you get it. Andrew, should we pay some bills? Do you want to pay some bills?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we'll be
gotta do an ad
right
quick.
back, Dave. We just have to pay some bills. Okay, you let me know when you're ready.
Oh yeah, I'm ready, Johnny.
Are you looking for a new refrigerator? Look no further than Menards for all your refrigerator needs.
Hey, I have a refrigerator.
Oh, did you get it at Menards?
No. But man, I think I wish I did.
Menards has all the name brands, Whirlpool, and all the other ones too.
Wait, Johnny, I'm thinking about this now. Didn't you get your refrigerator from Menards?
I did, Andrew. I did. And look, I know I said some terrible things about Menards customer service, their return policy, and just basically their lack of communication in general when dissatisfied with their service or product in the past. But the long and short of it is, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So, what do you expect?
Yeah, but Johnny, didn't you order your refrigerator well before the pandemic started?
I did, Andrew. I did. I actually ended up having to threaten legal action before I ever received a response to any of my correspondences. But in the end, they ended up refunding my money minus a 25% restocking fee, despite the fact that the refrigerator I ordered never ended up leaving the warehouse at any point.
But Johnny, if you canceled the order with Menards, how did you end up getting a refrigerator?
Well, I actually ended up finding the same refrigerator cheaper on the Best Buy website, and I ended up getting it delivered and installed the next day.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, the whole thing was just a real headache.
Well, I'm sold.
Me too. So remember, folks, save big money at Menards. And to save an additional 10%, use the promo code Cavalry. That's Cavalry during checkout. If there's any, like, if it doesn't work, if the promo code doesn't work, you just go to bestbuy.com and they should be able to help you out.
Sounds good. I'm going to get a refrigerator today.
Me too. All right, back to business. So, Dave, did you have
Cha-ching.
another topic you needed help with?
Cha-ching. I just kept thinking about the Menards commercials when I was growing up. It was that grizzled old man that'd be like, "Save big money at Menards."
Oh, sure.
Remember that guy? Yeah.
We put him out of business.
Well, he died, I think.
Well,
He had nard cancer.
He got cancer in
in his
Menards.
is that real?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Menards, like he's a pirate.
It's a
Menards.
Googleable
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, you kicked me in Menards.
Johnny's like, "Fuck coffee beans. I'm selling Kick Me in Menards bumper stickers."
That's right.
Unlicensed Menards merch.
Yeah, right. You're gonna get a cease and desist from fucking a hardware store.
All right, what do you
the
got?
Third one. Speaking of ball cancer, I think I back me up on this one. We're all on social media, and a lot of the way we process things in life that are difficult is like we post about it on social media. Like it's not just here I'm doing a gig. It's like people post breakups and people post hard things. I want backup on this. Like my father died about 2 years ago. I know, hilarious. But every time I talk about it, people want to send me thoughts and prayers, and it's just like food and money help with grief. Thoughts and prayers do not. Like, and this is not a knock on religion. It's just like when someone's hurting, I mean, the curse of being a human being is like people you care about are going to die. It's like I want to normalize instead of sending, "Hey, look at me" comment, just be like, "Hey, what's your Venmo? What's your PayPal? Can I send you $10?" What right after my father passed, the nicest thing anybody did for me is there was this comic. She found out my PayPal from a friend, and she sent me $15 with a note that said, "Go get Chinese food." And it was the nicest thing anybody ever did for me. So, like, I just want to normalize, like, grief is part of life. And, like, if someone's grieving, like, just try to, like, make life easier for them. Like, don't just wish them like, "Oh, he's down looking above you." Like, what if I don't believe that? Just like send food and money if someone dies. Like that's my beef.
I like that. Except the one I'm going to back you up, but the one thing I'll quibble with, you said that someone sent you $15 and said, "Go get Chinese food." That was the nicest thing anyone's ever done for you.
No. During the grieving process.
Oh, okay.
Like, because
I would
it's
hope
just
that
like
at
when
some point along the way, someone's ponied up more than $15.
Yes.
Got it your way.
yes,
That's,
I'm a sad man.
that's a sad tale. No, that's a great idea. Here I'll say a couple things. Now, on the one hand, I was thinking about what you're saying, and I was immediately thinking to myself, and I was like, "Oh boy, if I got to start giving everybody who someone dies, But you're right. If you can just say, it ups the threshold for even commenting on something bad happening. So it's like, so if it's like someone you kind of know and their dad dies, it stops you maybe from making a comment, but you have to be invested enough to send a couple bucks or something.
Yeah, and it's like, it's because I was getting messages, and I know people mean well, and like Americans are terrible at grief. Like, no one wants to talk about it. When someone dies, we get shit-faced wasted at the funeral, so you don't feel or think about it, and then it comes out in fucking awful ways down the line. Like, we are terrible at grief. But I was getting messages from like open mic comics that I met. "Hey man, if you need an ear, I got you." It's like, bro, like, I don't fucking even know you. Like, we're friends on Facebook. Like, just say, "Hey, what's your Venmo?" And then you can say, "Hey, if you need an ear."
While you eat your Chipotle, I'd be glad to sit there and listen to you.
Yeah, you want to know how to work the road? Send me $10 in Chipotle gift card. I'll do it.
I will back you up, and I do agree that's very nice. And what I was thinking, because my mom passed 4 years ago, and my whole family got together, and the best, like, people would, I mean, it was almost like when you have a baby, people just bring you meals, because you don't. The last thing you when when you have a baby, you don't have time. But when you're grieving, it's like you just don't want to. You don't have the motivation. And people would bring these dishes, and I mean, some of them were so good, it like almost made it worth it. You know what I mean?
Even when they're bad, it's still not awful. Like some girl brought me a vegetable lasagna, and I didn't know it. It's like she brings this thing to me, and I was super grateful for the lasagna, and I cut into it, and there was like carrots and squash and shit in it.
Yeah.
And I took one bite, and it was like my dad died all over again. It was just like, why? Why did you do this to me?
Huh?
Still better than thoughts and prayers.
She's actually one of our big listeners.
Jonna Jorgensen.
Yeah, Jonna.
Shout out to Jonna. No, it's tricky though. The Venmo thing is tricky because there's a dollar amount that says, grief, but then there's an amount that's insulting. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to. So what is the perfect? Because
sorry
like
about your
bucks,
dad. Here's $3.50.
It's $1.90. Those add up. If you get a lot of those, that's good.
Yeah.
But,
imagine if you get 10 of those. That's dinner.
It's almost saying like, here's $5. I don't want to talk to you about your dead dad.
I
would pay you.
Appreciate that over like, hey, stranger, like. I literally I've been working out a bit about it, but like someone commented, well, hopefully if people can't afford to send money or food, that thoughts and prayers will be just okay. It's like, yeah, that's not the fucking point. Like, I'm not trying to piss on thoughts and prayers. It's just it seems to me when some tragedy happens to someone, people just want to be like, hey, look at me. Hey, I just let you know, I'm right there, right there, about 15 comments down.
Yeah, so you're saying like ultimately everything is like self-serve. You're only, even if you're trying to be nice, you're only trying to be nice so that you and other people know that I'm nice.
And the caveat is people are awful with grief because we just don't talk about it. We just don't, and it's not good. Like I literally am a workaholic. Okay, so it's like when my dad passed away, I was on the fucking road constantly until the pandemic, and then when it shut down, my whole world collapsed because I wasn't running anymore, and like I had to get therapy and shit like that. Like, normalize talking about death in the way where it's just like, it's gonna happen, so like let's take care and look at the way other cultures do it. Like in the Jewish religion, for 3 days straight they bring you food. That it's a very quick wake, very quick burial, and then there's like a mourning period. I can't remember the exact terminology that they use, but people just bring you food for days. Why isn't that not a normal thing, regardless of what you believe in?
Yeah, sounds pretty good to me. I'm hungry.
Yeah, right.
This is also funny because when you combine your topics, this sounds like the worst get-rich-quick scheme ever. It's like, hey guys, if you get out there and you sell a lot of hot sauce and you have a lot of relatives die, you can make some real cash. Okay.
I'll end it on this. I sold 2 cases of hot sauce at my dad's memorial.
I sold 0 boner stickers at my mom's wake.
But you did try.
ABC, baby.
You set up the table.
You gotta put it out there.
Hey, my old man would have fucking approved that. We did like a celebration of life where we bought a whole bunch of chicken and masticholi and shit for the people to come hang. And then the bartender at his VFW that we had it at, she's like, this might not be the right time, but like, do you have any hot sauce on you? I'm like, lady, I got 2 cases in the trunk. She's like, get them. So I hand her the 2 cases. I went about my grieving and the eulogizing and shit. I came back after it was all done. We're all eating. She hands me a fucking wad of cash. She's like, I sold them all for you. And I'm like, blam.
Wow.
Oh, so you didn't have to like... You didn't have to like
hustle.
go up there and be like, my dad loved hot sauce. And if there's one thing he would have wanted.
I mean, it was for you to buy some. Cash check
like
charge.
people like trying not to make eye contact as they're walking by the table.
As they're leaving.
Like, we didn't bring any cash. Just go quick. Like crying. Like, oh, did you have a nice time?
You know what's gonna go? You know what's gonna go good with that free chicken and masticholi you're eating? Some hot sauce, $10.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Oh my god. Oh man.
Gotta hustle.
Sell merch at shows, and sell merch at funerals. That is the theme.
Yeah, that's the title.
episode.
Sell merch at funerals.
Make that money.
It's so funny because I'm coming from such a good place, but now that you've laid out the whole game plan, I'm like, man, am I really a piece of shit?
No,
That's what we do
no,
in this podcast. We open people's eyes to who they really are. And Dave, I'm sorry.
No, that bartender. I mean, like you said, you weren't even thinking of selling merch at your dad's funeral, but then the bartender. That's a lot of balls for the bartender to, That's kind of scary because you could imagine a world where you go, I shouldn't be approaching, like, as much as I love hot sauce, I should not approach this guy at his dad's funeral. You know what I mean?
And it was just, but that was his crew of VFW friends. Like they were just fucking, like they had bought in the past, and they I don't come around that often, you know. So it's just like repeat business, But it was super kind. Like there were more than just the lady who sent me $15 worth of kindness. I don't want to say my grieving process has been full of unkind people sending empty thoughts and prayers. Like a lot of good people help me to not cry when I talk about it. And it's just like I would hope the over arc, instead of like big money hustler Dave Yates, it's just like I just want everybody to survive and take care of each other. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. You're trying to dress it all up here at the end. I didn't get that feel. No, of course. But I like this bartender. She go to like, Colonel Sanders' funeral and goes to his kid. He's like, hey, you wouldn't happen to be able to get me a 9-piece spicy chicken bucket, would you?
It's like, I know this might be a bad time, but
this might be a bad time.
You know those Nashville hot chicken strips? Any chance you're going to bring those back?
Just really good.
Do you feel backed up? I feel like we did a lot of backing up. Do you feel backed up?
I feel backed up even when you were the one being put in the firing range. You still backed me up.
I have no ego. I'll take my bullets.
That's how good the Cavalry podcast is.
That's right.
We aim to please. It's like Andrew's wife said, we blindly support regardless of anything. Keep it bland, keep it supportive.
It just like Andrew's wife says, it makes for an uninteresting program.
I told my girlfriend about what the podcast was about. She's like, "Oh, that sounds super neat." So who knows?
There you go. Okay, we can finally change.
Sounds cooler than Heidi.
Yeah. We can replace Heidi's quote on the podcast that says, I don't like the format, and with that sounds super neat. That'll be better.
Yeah,
that'll be more marketable.
Just get Jason Russell quotes. Just like
we can't.
I love Bush, and they backed me up on
I forgot. The whole with Jason's episode, it was funny, like going back and listening to it, because sometimes I don't have time to like listen to the entire hour and whatever, but you'll just I'll just kind of jump, but every time I jump in, it was like balls, hairy bush, hairy women, balls.
And then you get to, it's like, and women shouldn't have to change their names for men. And it's like,
I know it was a very feminist, pro-feminist sentiment. So
I love Jason Russell. So if Jason's listening, which he probably isn't, this is 100% Jason Russell love.
Everyone.
But I think. I don't know.
Was there any
Johnny,
call-in gripes? Any audience gripes?
Oh, did we have it? I didn't. I don't think so. I don't think this week. I don't think we have any.
Oh no, I checked.
But thank you, Dave. You're doing a better job of hosting this than we.
I genuinely like the podcast. Like I was like, man, I'm gonna be sick of their voices. I rallied 3 in a row while I was making hot sauce earlier. I'm like, no, this is enjoyable.
Oh, good.
Maybe we should make our own brand of hot sauce. Maybe the Cavalry should come up with like our own flavor. We could come up with like some sort of pepper that I don't know what it would be, but
we'll call it the ha hot sauce.
Yeah.
Good job, Johnny.
And I own the trademark, and so I will send you a cease and desist.
Well, how many ha's do you have trademarks for? Because we will just add one.
And we'll keep
I went
going.
pretty deep.
We'll put
Yeah,
that
you
thing
think the
in
Haha
4.5.
Cafe is going to get any percentage of this? No. I know there's people out to hurt me.
All right. Well, Dave, is there anything besides
Other
your
than
haha hot sauce that you would like to plug?
You can find my album on iTunes and Amazon Music. It's called One Long Merch Pitch. That is my
course it
debut
is.
album.
That's what this podcast
He's on
was.
his merch tour.
Yeah. One long merch pitch, and then I co-host a podcast with my friend Anna Valenzuela called 12 Questions Podcast. It's a podcast where we ask people 12 different questions that are loosely based in recovery principles. I've been sober for about 9 years, so we're just trying to help a lot of people. So it's called 12 Questions Podcast. So if you know anybody that's interested in recovery and you want to learn a little bit more, listen to 12 Questions, and it's like you can get some recovery in your life without having to go to a weird church basement. So
Nice. Did you want to plug your Venmo? Just for anyone.
at Yates Comedy, Yates Comedy, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. You can hit me up on all of those. You can send Bitcoin. I'll take Ripple. I'll take Dogecoin. I don't. You want to? Here's the last thing I'll say about this. A guy paid me 4 years ago for 3 bottles of hot sauce, $35 in Bitcoin. It is worth $2,000 right now. So suck a dick.
Who are you telling to suck a
know,
dick to?
We've done
Everyone in
nothing
that story is nice.
We've done nothing but back you up. Why would
The
why would you end
naysayers.
it like this?
The naysayers about the cryptocurrency naysayers.
I think you had to build up an enemy in your mind. My wife is right. This podcast
I'm fighting
does not work
enemies.
without a conflict.
When
I'm
everyone's
finding
like,
enemies in my own brain that don't exist. That is 100% true.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
And remember, 5-star reviews. We'd be glad to talk about your topic and back you up.
Killer
thank
intro
you,
music to boot. Very good
oh,
intro
yeah,
music.
yeah. Talk about not copyrighted. That was free. Yeah, if anybody's out there as a musician and wants to make a cool song, we are open to changing the Cavalry theme.
No,
so.
I
Yeah.
legit like it. I legit think
Oh,
it's
really?
very catchy.
Okay. Then we're keeping
That
it.
was not an empty compliment. That was good.
Well, thanks, man. And
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
You're welcome. See you next week on The Cavalry.